On Wednesday, the 14th of November 2018, family members, friends, colleagues, and business associates of Mr. Mohammed Babla Yesufu gathered at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, Victoria Island, Lagos, to celebrate a man of exemplary character, a consummate philanthropist, an embodiment of humility, and a prolific writer as he attained the grand age of 60. Mr. Babla Mohammed Yesufu gave a different twist to the usual birthday celebration as he decided to celebrate his Diamond Jubilee anniversary with a lecture and a book presentation. The lecture was themed Non-Oil Export Businesses in Nigeria, Motion Without Real Movement. Born to the family of Chief Alhaji Wells M. Yesufu and Deaconess Elizabeth Tomori Yesufu, both of blessed memory, Mr. Babla Yesufu, who is fondly called Babla by close friends, hails from the royal family of Agbede in Esako West local government area of Edo State. He had the opportunity of schooling in three major parts of the country as a child: the North, the West, and the East. That early exposure helped him to have a better understanding of the diverse nature of Nigeria and its people, which in turn helped shape his national views as he grew up. He graduated from the prestigious University of Lagos, where he studied philosophy and history in 1981, and later on obtained his MBA in marketing from the Lagos State University, Ojo. During his higher institution days at Unilag, he was the Director of Socials and Vice President, MBA Students Union. After graduation, he served with the Nigerian Breweries PLC between 1981 and 1982. Mr. Babla Yesufu joined Cadbury Nigeria PLC in June 2013 as the head, Corporate and Government Affairs. He is currently the Director, Corporate and Government Affairs, Cadbury West Africa, in addition to being a member of the Cadbury West Africa leadership team. Mr. Mohammed Babla Yesufu's experience in sales and marketing, corporate and government affairs, general management, as well as export operations span over 3 decades. He is a member of many professional associations and belongs to several social and recreational clubs. He is happily married to Anita Loaye Yesufu, a world-class fashion designer, and the union is blessed with 4 beautiful children. In attendance at her 60th birthday anniversary were guests from all spheres. Mrs. Yetunde Odejayi, Permanent Secretary in the Deputy Governor's Office, represented the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Mrs. Idiat Olunroti Adebule, who was a special guest of honor. Former Governor of Ogun State and Chairman of the occasion, Chief Olusegun Oshoba, CON, former Military Governor, Lagos State, Rear Admiral Ndubisi Kanu retired, the Director General, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Muda Yusuf, the first Military Governor of Ondo State, Group Captain Ita David Ikbeme retired, veteran broadcaster Mrs. Bimbo Oluyede, pioneer Speaker of the Ekiti State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Kola Adefemi, the Chairman, Island Club, Mr. Banji Oladakbo, Honorable Ganiu Solomon, the President of the Lagos Lawn Tennis Club, Prince Bengalu Fadeju, PDP Deputy Governorship candidate in Ogun State, Dr. Ruben Abati, the Chairman and CEO Biscon Communications, Prince Bessel Atilo, as well as other distinguished guests. Members of the Lagos Lawn Tennis Club and the Island Club were there in their legion to support the celebrant, who is a member of both clubs. The event, which was emceed by one of Nigeria's talented comedians, Gbenga Adeyinka, began with a recitation of the national anthem, after which he entertained guests to light jokes before the event commenced properly. To commit the proceedings into the able hands of God, veteran broadcaster Mrs. Bimbo Oluyede led in the opening prayer, after which the chairman of the occasion, Chief Olusegun Oshoba, former governor of Ogun State, delivered his address.
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the celebration of a man who is a true Nigerian, school, work in all the regions of this country, the North, the West, and the East. So I can say he's more Nigerian than I am, and he has had exposure. So today, let us all cooperate, and please, the book launch, before you go, even if you have to go earlier, stop by at the desk and buy one 2 or 3 for you, yourself, family, friends, and family. Once again, that is my chairman's speech. I thank you very much for this ceremony. Welcome.
Next was the birthday lecture with a theme, Non-Oil Export Businesses in Nigeria, Motion Without Real Movement, which was delivered by the Director General of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Muda Yusuf. Mr. Muda Yusuf started by congratulating the celebrants, Mr. Mohammed Bala Yesufu, on his 60th birthday and commended him for choosing to mark the day differently. Mr. Muda Yusuf said the topic will not just be beneficial to the economy, but to the entire nation, because the country's economy is heavily dependent on oil. Speaking further on the Nigerian non-oil sector, Mr. Muda Yusuf said, despite lots of motions and activities aimed at promoting exports in the non-oil sector, a lot still needs to be done. He talked about the importance of diversifying the nation's economy to help boost the non-oil sector.
The issue of motion and no movement is not peculiar to non-oil exports. In many aspects of our national life, there has been a lot of motion and no movement. We have the same story with the small businesses, SMEs. For several decades, there have been several programs about small businesses, yet the small businesses are still practically on the same spot. There's a lot of motion about improving our educational system, a lot of motion about improving our power sector, our health system, all sorts of issues, all sorts of motions, all sorts of programs. Yes, in many of these instances, we are still on the same spot. So the phenomenon of motion without movement is not peculiar to the non-oil export. But I like to say that in dealing with this subject matter, we cannot isolate non-oil export sector from the rest of the economy. Because what affects the economy affects virtually all sectors, including non-oil exports. So we have to situate it in context, because the export sector is only a component part of the larger economy.
This was immediately followed by the review of the book written by the birthday boy, Mr. Mohammed Bala Yesufu, titled Export Architecture Roadmap, The Nigerian and Global Perspectives. In the review of the book, Mr. Frank Aibogun, the publisher and CEO Business Day Media Limited, said the 17-chapter book, which is based on exporting, serves as a wake-up call to policymakers because it gives meaningful and practical examples regarding various exporting activities. He further recommended the book for intending and existing exporters.
What is particularly interesting about this book is the proper arrangement of the topics in a flowing order that enhances reading and understanding. In chapter 1, the author looks at the meaning of export and why export is critical to nations and companies. For proper lessons to Nigeria's economic managers, Bala gives practical examples of how export has changed the fortunes of global economies like China, India, Germany, and Japan. In chapters 2 to 5, the author exposes to the potential exporter what he needs to know about the business. He touches on how to become an exporter and deals with issues around documentation, listing financial institutions that can offer funding support for exporters. He draws up export business plan and lists risks that are associated with the business. Bala further highlights regulatory agencies associated with export. And in chapter 6, Bala takes an intensive dive to present exportable agro products in Nigeria, where to find them, and in the next chapter, he lists export products in Nigeria other than agro commodities. To me, this is commendable, as the author is almost offering a free consultancy to those who will read this book.
The cake cutting exercise was next, as supervised by the chairman of the occasion, Chief Olusegun Oshoba, after which series of photo and video session ensued. The unveiling of the book was done in a very ceremonial manner as Group Captain Ita David Ikpeme retired and Rear Admiral Ndubisi Godwin retired, led a procession.
I bear this, I present it to you all, to the glory of God, and blessings to all of us who are here to see this.
Thank you very much, sir. And now,
In his remarks, the author of the book and birthday boy, Mr. Bala Yesufu, spoke on how delighted and honored he was to have such amazing people at his 60th birthday anniversary, adding that the book chronicles his experience over the years and the desire to reveal untapped resources embedded in the country, which could bring about greater opportunities to all, especially in the non-oil sectors.
My desire to give back to the society, devoid of commercial considerations, largely influenced the writing of this book, which identifies some untapped opportunities in the non-oil export business space that are key to reviving the economies of countries, including Nigeria. The relevance of this book in today's contemporary society is that Nigeria should not be an oil-driven economy alone, but should also be the other economy, which is like the other room. You know the story of the other room. That is more enduring economy. Many companies pay lip service to export business management operations. When they find themselves in quandary as a result of their inability to obtain official approval for forex, or if local sales are dwindling, they exert pressure on their export desks to perform miracle overnight. As soon as the local business picks up, they relax again. And this vicious cycle goes on. I therefore recommend undiluted focus on non-oil export, both by the private sector and the government, because it holds the ace as far as economic transformation of any nation is concerned. I'm delighted to note the keynote speaker, Mr. Yesufu, spoke extensively about the need to diversify the economy. His views will no doubt stimulate more debate on non-oil export business.
Later on, Mrs. Yetunde Odejayi, who represented the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Mrs. Idiato Olorunroti Adebule, delivered the goodwill message of the Deputy Governor.
Mr. Bala is a man that is loved by fantastic people, because there's no mean person in this hall today. It shows that this man is really thinking Nigeria and is trying to help the economy of this country. And we will all work together to make sure that Nigeria gets better than what we are having now by the special grace of God. She asked me to deliver this to you, Mr. Bala. The check, Mr. Gwenga Adeyinka asked for check, but she said I should give you checks, not check. So on behalf of Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, she's launching the books because she knows that the contents there are super and they are going to help the nation. She asked me to thank you for the good job. God bless you.
After that, friends of the birthday boy donated handsomely to launch the book, after which Alhaji Karim led the closing prayer, which brought the event to an end. From BizCon Communications, it's 60 hearty cheers to a selfless giver, Mr. Mohammed Bala Yesufu.